you all ever been like me and have been solo queuing and maybe you just aren't getting enough info from your team and maybe you want to play a little bit more info-centered character? Sova is going to be the exact agent that you're going to want to pick, especially on Breeze. Whether you're on offense or defense, his lineups are going to make sure that your team gets closer and closer to that victory. So let's go check out a couple of his lineups. Moving our sights over towards A on the attack side, we're going to show you a wonderful recon dart right here that is going to land right about here on site. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you are stuck in between this little life preserver box and this small rock here. Make sure you are not anywhere over here. You should just be able to walk directly into it and get stuck in this corner. From there, you're going to want to take note of this long lined wall right here. You're going to then want to pull out your dart and have your second charge bar line up with that wall perfectly to the very tippy top of that little metal. From there, it is just a very simple 2 charge, so that is past the 2 bar. Let it rip. This dart will travel all the way above sight through the little tiny hole and land right here. This gives you a ton of information back sight, lets you know if they're holding even in this little corner right here, or if they're more towards yellow. Now, the thing that makes me really love this dart on A attack, especially if it's one of your first times using it against your opponents, once you go ahead and send that dart flying like so,
scanning ahead.
The amount of time it takes for that dart to land is the perfect amount of time it takes for you to go ahead and push out of short right here, giving you ample enough opportunity to see if anyone is backside, line up your shots, and get a perfect shot into them. Not the best overall for pushing aggressively if you guys just want to go ahead and rush in with a Raze or a Jet or a Neon or anything of the sort. But overall, I would say a very good passive-aggressive dart that can give you a lot of info, all while being able to push in aggressively. Now, let's say your team does have a Raze, a Jet, or a Neon, or maybe just wants to push very aggressively on A, or maybe you know that there's someone holding close corners that just never wants to leave. This next recon dart onto A is going to help you with all of those. What you're going to want to do is put yourself in this little shop area elbow of A. Then what you're going to want to do is make sure that you see this side of the wall with that side of the wall. Then just make sure they are overlapping perfectly like so. From there, when you pull out your charge dart, recon dart, dart, you're going to want to make sure you have the first dart diamond perfectly placed on top of where you just intersected the 2 walls.
Right here.
Right there. What you're going to want to do then is give yourself 1 bounce and a full charge. This will be a very, very fast dart.
Scanning ahead.
And you let it go like so. That dart then sticks there, reveals anyone in this little corner right there, as well as anyone around the other side of this box. Does not give you any info backside, but if you have at least a teammate or 2 peeking there and you know there are enemies right here, it'll give you a very, very good chance of being able to push out onto site. Once the enemy team sees one of your recon darts, for example, the one mid doors, they might be able to shoot that one very quickly, so you might not get a lot of info out of that one. And if you are still looking for a recon dart towards mid doors, this next recon dart is going to be just for you. Again, same setup as almost the other recon dart for the close corner right here, except this time we are not going to overlap the walls. We are just going to make sure that they touch ever so closely like that. From there, make sure you have this little right side dot lined up perfectly in your crosshair. Give it a 1 bounce and a full charge.
Revealing area.
And that dart sends all the way over here, tagging anyone who's waiting mid-door. Also has the added benefit, unlike the other mid-doors dart, of tagging people who are here or in this corner like so. Now, if you're holding A and you want a good recon dart for maybe if you see a Viper wall be put up or you start to hear another Sova drone or maybe see a Sova dart onto site, this next one is going to be wonderful for you. However, be aware if they are pushing very, very fast, they might get to you before that dart lands, so just be aware of that. But unaware of that, what you're going to want to do is put yourself on this first box right here. Take a look at this corner part of the cloud. When you pull out your shock dart, or excuse me, your recon dart, you're going to want to make sure the first charge bar is directly in that corner of the cloud. And then it is just a simple 1 charge.
Revealing area.
The dart will travel above the top of this opening and land right here, giving you wonderful view of anyone who is even deciding to sit right here, maybe trying to put up a Viper wall, or if they are even pushed up to right here. It will not, however, reveal anything from here, so just be careful of that if you are trying to go ahead and push. So because A has 2 different default plant positions, we are going to be showing you 2 separate double shock dart lineups here for A. The first one is going to be taking a look at
Right
this
here.
default plant. The second one is going to be taking a look at
Right
this
here.
one. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. For our first double shock dart lineup here, we're going to want to go ahead and position ourselves behind these two boxes like so. You're going to want to notice where these middle leaves are hanging and just make sure that you are slightly below them like so. Give yourselves 2 bounces on this and a very quick pull and release.
Shock dart.
The start will bounce once, bounce twice, and land like so. For our second shock dart, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is make note of this little cross section of beams. From there, when you have your shock dart out, make sure your first diamond, the tip of it, is intersecting with those 2 perpendicular pieces of metal, and another simple pull and release with no bounces.
Shock dart.
Lands perfectly like so. So when you put it all together, it'll look a little something like this. Quick pull on that one.
Shock
Quick
dart.
pull on that one. As you can see, they both land within about a second or 2 of each other, giving the maximum amount of damage to anyone who is planting right there. Now, the wonderful thing about both of these double shock dart lineups is that you are going to be standing in the exact same place for both of them. Our second one that we are going to show you, again, make sure you are positioned behind these 2 boxes like so. This is going to be for default
Right
plant right here, just for anyone who isn't aware. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this bar-like structure right here. You're going to want to take a look at the top of that. Pull out your shock dart and make sure that the right diamond for bounces, the top part of it is touching the top right part of that little bar. And the wonderful thing about this double shock dart lineup is that you don't have to move your cursor at all for changing either of these shock darts. The first one, you're going to want to go ahead and give it a double bounce and a 1 charge. It'll travel up, bounce once, bounce twice, land like so. And for our second dart, again, same exact position this time, just a simple pull and release. Travels above, lands like so. When you put it all together in quick real time, it is going to look a little something like this.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
One lands, the other lands about a second later, and anyone who is deciding to go ahead and stick around and plant after that first shock dart is going to be sorely mistaken when they wind up with no plant and a death. For our next Sova lineup here, we are going to check out a recon dart looking towards mid doors on A. For this one, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you put yourself in this corner right here next to this wall. Wait for the round to start. Once the round starts, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you are taking a look at this top little dot right here. Make sure your crosshair is lined up exactly with that. From there, you're just going to want to go ahead and give yourself a 1 charge on your recon dart like so.
Revealing area.
This dart is going to land right here in door and give you a wide view of anyone who is wanting to either push doors or maybe is just holding towards main right here. This dart really works for me in a ton of ways, mainly for an info dart. If you and your team are deciding to push towards mid, maybe even towards B, this dart will be wonderful for making sure no one is peeking you as you are pushing up mid. You can shoot that dart right there very easily, very quickly. Your team can go ahead and then decide to push up mid, all while making sure that no one is peeking you from A. Otherwise, if you are going to go ahead and push into this dart, I would maybe be aware of holding this corner right here, or maybe even holding around here in pyramid. If they see the dart, or if you shoot that dart multiple times, they will be predicting that dart, and so just be careful when you are pushing into A. For our first recon dart here for attack, we're going to take a look at B site right here. We're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this wonderful painting right here. Position ourselves in this corner like so. From here, you're going to want to take a gander at this brick that is slightly lighter than the rest of them. You're going to want to make sure that when you pull out your recon dart, that the bar side on the right side is lined up with the edge of this brick. So it is going to look like so when you line it up. Then from there, you're going to give yourself 1 bounce and just a simple full charge and let it rip.
Scanning ahead.
The start will then bounce off of this, travel all the way across the map, and land right there. This is going to go ahead and tag anyone who is sitting behind sight, even towards pillar right here, maybe even towards half wall, and especially very, very close towards that close elbow. Along with all of these Sova darts being fairly simple to hit on this map, which is what I love about them, this one not only gives you a good gander of the site, but also makes sure that your team can push in effectively if anyone starts to move. Even if someone is standing right here and your team starts to push in right there, they won't be seen by the recon dart, but if your team is shooting at them, they'll have to move somewhere else where the recon dart will most likely get them. So anyone that is hiding in any corners right here, minus this close left corner, they will either have to get out once your team starts pushing in. Very wonderful push recon dart, very aggressive. It is a very, very good time for your team if you can get this one off. Taking a look back towards B, we are now going to check out some post-plant shock dart setups. This first one is going to be a double shock dart setup or default. What we're going to want to do is go ahead and make our way back towards the middle of the map. We're going to want to take our little feetsies and pluck them in between this box and this corner like so. From there, what you're going to want to do is take a quick peek at this line right here. You're going to want to see where it intersects with this leaf. From there, when you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to make sure the top left part of your charge bar is touching where the line is intersecting with that leaf. For your first dart, you're going to, for your first shock charge, you're going to want to go ahead and give it a 2 charge.
Shock dart.
This will make it travel all the way above sight, about 6.5 seconds if I calculated it correctly, to right there. In that same position now, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is make sure that you are taking a peek at this leaf right here, or this flower, and this leaf right here. From here, what you're going to want to do is take a close look at the right circle of your Sova drone logo. You're going to want to make sure that that is precisely put
Right here.
Right about there in between the leaf and the empty space of the wall, so that it looks like so. If the little marker can go away, it almost looks like you're completing the leaf perfectly. From there, it is just a simple 1 charge. This one will travel a little faster, land like so. When you put both of those darts together, it'll look a little something like this. 2 charge that. 1 charge that. And as you can see, depending on how quick you can go ahead and pull out that second dart, you're going to want to go ahead and shoot it as fast as you can, and it'll get this entire area completely nuked. That way, if anyone is trying to go ahead and defuse right here on default, they will have no chance. Additionally, much like one of our recon darts over on A, if you want to go ahead and peek at the same time this is happening, what you're going to want to go ahead and do, again,
Shock dart.
do the line up. Then you're going to want to go ahead and make your way towards the top of this little window. And as they land, as you saw, it'll be right about when you are trying to walk and take a... With all of our attack lineups out of the way now, we are going to be focusing towards our defensive side. Our first lineup here is going to be from A, but it is going to be actually towards B elbow. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is pre-round, make sure you are as close to the barrier as you can. Another good key I like to take a look at is make sure this wall, or this door, is lined up perfectly with the corner of that wall. That way you're not overexposing yourself. From there, you're just going to want to go ahead and wait till the round begins. Once the round starts, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this wire right here. Follow it all the way up to the top, like so.
Right here.
You're going to want to go ahead and position your cursor right there. Make sure you are crouched for this as well. Again, following that line all the way up, making sure you are crouched. You're then going to want to just go ahead and give it a 2 charge.
Revealing area.
This dart is then going to land right here. Get anyone who is starting to peek out towards B main, and make sure it tags anyone who's maybe starting to creep towards the middle of sight. If this is your first time seeing this dart as the enemy, you're not really going to know what to do. You're probably going to be focused on moving towards B main. Your main focus won't be towards this wall right here. It'll maybe be focused towards over here. They might see it coming if they're already standing right here, so just be aware of that. But if you go ahead and shoot that at the very beginning of the round, I would say that very few enemies are going to get that recon dart destroyed before it at least tags a few of them. This next recon dart is going to be a bit of a peculiar one because it is actually going to be coming from behind the enemies instead of in front of them. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So what you're going to want to do first off is make sure that you are positioned towards this mid area like so. Put yourself in this corner as deep as you can. Then you're going to want to make a note of this bolt in the bottom left. From there, you're going to want to also go ahead and make a note of this little first dash line right here at the bottom of your UI. What you're going to want to do then is line up that bottom dash mark with the right side of that bolt like so. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and give your recon 2 bounces and a complete full charge and let it rip.
Scanning ahead.
This dart is actually way too fast for me to go ahead and see it land, but as you can see, it goes extremely fast, lands about the exact same place as the other dart, but gives the dart a little bit of variety and change up of a position depending on where the enemy is coming from or where they are looking towards. This one will definitely confuse them a first couple of times, but again, make sure you are keeping up the changing, keeping up the variety, because this one will only work so many times, but the few times it does, you'll at least get a couple of kills. Checking out the opposite of what we were just doing on A site, we are going to be checking out some shock dart placements for default on B. This first one is going to be a double shock dart lineup. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is put yourself in this corner like so. Again, as always with these lineups, be aware of where you are standing. So if the enemy team is already fully pushed in, this might not be the best shock dart lineup to go ahead and put because you might be dead even before you can get them off. But regardless of that, make sure you are in this corner. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at these leaves right here, mainly the very sharp corner that they make. You're going to want to go ahead and pull out your shock dart. Make sure the second bounce diamond is touching the left side of it with its left side. From there, this first shock dart is going to be a double charge.
Shock dart.
This dart will travel all the way across map and land on default. Cut out, cut out, cut out. Second shock dart lineup is going to be then taking a look at this edge right here and just simply moving your crosshair slightly down from there. And it is a simple one charge. This one, much like the other, traveling all the way across site to land perfectly on default. When all this has been put together, it'll look a little something like this. First one off.
Shock dart.
Second one off. And depending on how fast you can get those off, they will detonate quicker or slower. But just be aware of that. Be aware of where you are standing and how long it takes for the shock darts to get there. And all that right there is just going to about do it for us for all of our lineups here on Breeze for Sova. I want to thank you all so very much for checking out the video. Again, it means the world to me. We have a new editor here. The other one was very good. Had to move on to other things, and we hope Lagoon is very well. But Fully Custom is very awesome. Does a lot of great work. Shout out them. They're the best. Huge thank you to everyone who's watching. Let me know if there are any other Sova lineups on Breeze that I missed that are better. Let me know if you found out any other Sova lineups on any other maps that are better. I will be sure to make some more in the very near future. Be sure to check out the updates coming Tuesday and Thursday. Check them out on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, eat some cheese, do whatever you want, and I will see you guys in the next video.